Okay, good morning folks. Quick sound check. Someone give me a thumbs up that you can hear me. Okay, good morning folks. No, that's not good. Echoing there. Okay, now sound check. Can you hear me okay? I've put everything on mute. Should be okay. All important Brexit day today. So in about 4 or 5 hours from now, the British will deliver a letter to the European Parliament, and that will signify a 2-year path to exiting the European Union. Okay, thanks Renko guy. And now the actual course of events today. The Prime Minister will do her usual question time at midday here in London, and that's followed by a her making a statement to the House here, where she'll discuss the content of the letter and their outlook. At the same time, the letter will be delivered to the European Council. So that's basically around 12:30. So up till 12:30, you might see some volatility in the British pound. You've seen it certainly over the last couple of trading. Well, you've actually seen it over the last week if you look at what's been going on. We'll look at pound in a moment. But my personal view, and this is only my personal view, is that we've seen some big short covering over the last. Let's put up the screen. If you look at what's happened in the, and this is the hourly chart, so basically these lines are daily. So over the last 6 days, you've just seen a relentless short covering of cable positions, back down from the lows of 120 basically, and we've seen continuous short covering up until yesterday really, where we've seen now a continuation of the predominant downtrend. Now, for those that have been following me over the last few months, my long-term sit on a beach view. Sit on a beach view is buy pound call options, long-term call options. I'm not saying you should do this. Full disclaimer, I have not done it, but I think generally in a year's time, 2 years' time, pound's going to be a lot higher than where we are at the moment. But of course, we don't look at long-term views. We're day traders here. But I think cable will do better. Pound will be better in the months and years to come. But at the moment, we're seeing certainly some nervousness come into the market, and I think the way the market's going to react now, once it's triggered, there's been people out there expecting the market to bounce to 130. Everyone likes to buy the rumour, sell the fact, but I think that's pretty much done. I also think the short covering's been covered, and so I think once the Article 50 has been triggered, and then you start seeing the statements coming out of Europe and what have you, initially they are not going to make it easy. It's not going to be plain sailing initially. Now I think as time goes on, in weeks and months ahead, when the negotiations get down to the nitty gritty, then of course you might see some stabilisation, and that's when the pound might start making some headway. But initially, what's going to come out of Europe is not going to be particularly nice in terms of for the British. So I think you could see, if anything, on a binary trade, a sell-off in cable immediately after the statements from the European Council and so forth. So I'm not playing cable at the moment. Clearly, if you look at what's going on in the basket of currencies, and it's sort of like skewing everything at the moment, because we've had this big move. This is the 4-hour. This is the momentum meter. For those that don't know, this is my momentum meter. I use this for a good guide of where the basket of currencies is heading. I tend to use the 4-hour for an overview, and then I'll scan down to the 1 hour. So if you move the time frame here, you can move it down to the 1 hour to see what's happening at this moment in time. But I like to use the 4-hour for general, sort of like a bigger picture. And what you're seeing at the moment, of course, is the big sell-off in pound as of yesterday, really, ahead of the Article 50 being triggered today. To the main beneficiary being the Australian dollar. and here is just basically a summary chart of what all the different time frames are. This is the 4 hour time frame, but this gives you a summary of the different time frames as well. So not really getting too involved. We'll look at them, but I mean, I'll look at pound Aussie because obviously it's the weakest against the strongest. But I'm not necessarily, full disclaimer. I'll tell you when I'm getting into trades in this room, and I'll tell you when I have views but not taking the trade. That doesn't make it a wrong trade. We're going to be discussing entries and different pairs all the time. So but some I'll take, some I won't take. But I'll be obviously full disclaimer. But pound Aussie, had it not been for in fact, we're just looking here on the 15-minute chart. We're just pushing back into my sell zone here. A sell zone comes in the pound Aussie around this 62.50 level. Really, is a good sell. It's like a 50% pullback from the lows today, but it's also showing a level of resistance here. It's bounced off it twice already. So this, on a risk-reward basis, would still be the trade for me if you're looking to take advantage. And remember, we've still got 4.5 hours. Beg your pardon, 8:30. We've still got basically 5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours. 4.5 hours to go before any announcements start coming out. So there's still some trading opportunities. If you drill down to a 15-minute or a 5-minute chart, you can still find some decent entries. Nick out 20 pips, 30 pips or something. The ATR on the British pound. I like to use ATRs for the guidance of take profit and stop loss levels. If you were to look on a 15-minute chart, the ATR is 10 pips. So if you were to sell into this sell zone here, take a 2-pip ATR, a 2 times ATR stop loss, then that's about a 20-pip stop loss. If you were to take a 20-pip stop loss, you could certainly get a risk reward for you to retest the lows before the announcement. You might even get a 2-to-1 trade off there. A 2 ATR takes you back up to the 61% pullback. So if you did 2.5 to clear that one, you'd still get a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio for the next 4 hours of trading. Now, if you look at the 4-hour ATR, excuse me, my kids are just getting up. The 4-hour ATR is around 75 pips, so there's no reason why you can't grab that out. So that's something that you might want to consider. Lost him now. Where is he? There it is. On an entry. So my style of trading basically is normally trend continuation predominantly, and I would buy into pullbacks on an uptrend and sell into pullbacks in a downtrend. And at the moment you can see this candle here, this last candle at the moment, it is having a pullback. We are just 10 pips away from my sell zone. So that's the pound Aussie in there. Okay, now so what I said on the morning update, which is sort of like an intro to the room, tells you what I'm looking at. I am looking at the euro at the moment. Now the euro, it's coming from a period of strength, but it's heading in the trajectory this way. It's got showing signs of weakness. Remember, this is the 4 hour. If I go down to the 1 hour, you'll see it's rolling over. It's now the second weakest currency on the 1 hour. So the Euro Oz has got my main focus of attention this morning. So that's something that I would be fair to be getting involved in. Okay, this is the 15-minute on the Euro Oz. Sorry, just keeping an eye on the chat here. Hello, Trading Room. Hello, Homer. So this is the 15-minute on the Euro Oz, and here is for me is a clear clear sell zone. Okay, I'm just going to drill out to the 1 hour. Okay, it is a key level of resistance, prior support before we took off on the uptrend. We bounced off it as a level of resistance a couple of times already. For me, this is heavily resisted. If we were to sell around here on the Euro Oz, Aussies is outperforming. Aussie's been hit over the last few trading sessions. I'm on commodity prices, copper prices, and so forth. We're seeing some rebound in that now. Aussie's getting a bit of a bid, so so I would be looking to possibly get into a short trade around the 41.57 level. This goes back down to the 15-minute chart, which is a conservative entry. If you're looking for a more aggressive entry, you can get back in around the 33 levels to 30 levels, something like that. Again, if you drill down to the 5-minute chart, you must get even a better level. A much more aggressive level on the 5-minute could get you in at around the 27 to 30 level again. That's the best level to get in at, I think, on this trade. If you are going to scalp this little puppy, then you can scalp it out around the 23 level. But the continuation of that downtrend at the moment, we've been in consolidation for a while on the 5-minute chart. We're now having a leg down, so I think there's a likelihood that continue through the morning session. So you might want to pick your entries depending on what time frame you're used to. Looks like a great day to be short the euro. Yeah, I think you're possibly right on a day trade. Homer, for those listening on YouTube and not following the Forex Signals chat room, Homer has said today looks like a great day to go short the euro USD, and he's must be right. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Look at the dollar. So that's the euros. That's my main focus of attention at the moment, and I'm just going to, for the sake of my own, so I don't normally trade off the 5-minute. For the sake of my own trading, I'm just going to put myself in a little alert there. Okay, so the Euro Oz is my preferred trade at today for a day trade. Okay, let's have a look then at the dollar. Okay, this is the dollar index. So the dollar index now is having a recovery from its previous lows. If you go out to, I call this is the day chart on the dollar index, and I call this this candle here my Trump candle, this big hammer here. I've always been keeping an eye on this Trump candle, I call it. This is the day of the election. Can you see it? Oh, my it's facing the way. No, you can't. Yeah. So this is my Trump candle. Didn't actually test. Did we test the top of it? I don't think we did we? Did we touch the top of the Trump candle? We literally. Oh gosh, look at that. So this, I've been talking about this for a couple of months now, and I was in Thailand, and when I was in Thailand, we obviously we tipped the top of my Trump candle, and we bounced from there. That was the top of this election candle, and then we've obviously been, and that was this is the 200 moving average as well. So we closed through the 200 moving average. Last 2 trading days in the dollar index, we've now closed above the 200 moving average. So we've tested the 200 moving average on the dollar index, and now we're showing signs of a possible retracement. We've had consumer confidence out in the States yesterday. It's it's on a 16-year high consumer confidence, and we've seen some hawkish comments coming out of a couple of the Fed people, Evans and so forth. So the dollar's having a bit of a rally. I'm not totally convinced by it now. I don't. I'm a technical trader, guys, and I'm not going to be trading what I think is going to happen. I trade what I see is happening at the moment. The dollar is going to the upside. So you'd have to. This is where we are at the moment. We're back down at this consolidation from before. And we're back down at these levels. I'm not convinced about this. I think if the dollar index gets back up to the 99 level, then you can find it coming under heavy pressure. Full disclosure, I am short dollar yen. I'm short dollar yen from quite a lot higher at the moment, and I would look to get further short dollar yen in any in any pullbacks into levels. I'll look at that in a moment. But the dollar index at the moment is pushing higher, and you can see that on the strength meter. It's the second strongest currency on the 4-hour. Okay, so do you fight that? Possibly not. Here's the dollar yen. I'm short from a lot higher up. This is only a small trade for me that I took over. This is my holiday trade. It's only a 0.3 of a lot, which I'm short from up here at 13.45, and I've got stops here above these swing highs. But at the moment, we're coming into this level of possible resistance. We need to really break that high before I start thinking, I'm going to get stopped. I'm going to get taken out of my short position. I'm more inclined to think that this is going to roll over, but obviously we'll have to see what the dollar index does, whether that stalls or not at the moment. At the moment, this long-term view for me, in the dollar is still predominant. So getting a short trade off around the 111.50 level is a possible trade as well. The trend to the downside is still the predominant trend. And obviously Trump's got his own problems ahead of, obviously we had the Obamacare thing last week, or the Healthcare Act, and now he's talking about getting his tax things through. The whole of this Trump rally, it's obviously it's run out of steam. The stock market fell off 500, 600 points, put up 400 points in the last 3 days, of course. But it'll be interesting to see, or it's important to see, whether the stocks can continue to the upside, whether dollar can break that 100 level in the index. I think Trump's got his own problems, and I'm more inclined to think the dollar's going to be under pressure, testing that Trump candle again in the next few days. Right, let's have a look at the quick chat. Do we have a promo link out on Twitter for the trading room? I think we do. Nick can answer that one. Andrew, is the momentum meter for use with AxiTrader, and do you recommend them as a good broker? They are. AxiTrader, one of our brokers. If you go to the screen, our website here, you can see our preferred brokers, and they are one of our brokers as well that you can use. So AxiTrader, I think you get the momentum meter with AxiTrader. Yeah, AxiTrader is a huge broker. They've been around for a long time. I mean, you can't get any more sound broker than someone like AxiTrader. Art, I think it works on any broker if you are a premium member. I don't think it does, Art, to be honest. No, there are no such thing as premium members. We're keeping their status. Premium members still keep their status as a premium member. As you can see, beside your name, Airbus, it has premium member written beside. So you are still considered a premium member, although there's there's no premium room as such, but but you still keep your title, as does the President of the United States when he leaves office. So you keep your title there as well. So Abas, you've been using strength meters for a while. I'm sure you see the main benefits of a strength meter. The premium room and the public room have merged into one, and you are honoured to be in this room, because new entrants into the room now have to have will pay a minor subscription or a minor entrance fee, just to keep out the people that are not really interested in trading. So we're trying to make this room as professional as possible in terms of trading. I know it's a great room to hang out in, but we're trying to make this room as trader orientated as possible. So we've decided that by putting a small cost of entry into the room, it keeps out the people that are just here to spam their own wares and so forth. We've had a lot of people coming in trying to tout their own stuff and what have you. so that we put a little low cost of entry. But being members before this announcement allows you to stay in the room, so you basically can all hang out here and continue to enjoy the trading banter, we hope. Did you check the meter out I sent you? I briefly looked at it, and thanks for reminding me. I briefly looked at it, and then I went off on a gallivant to Thailand, but now it's still there, so I'll have a look at that again at some point. Yeah. So Aussie New Zealand has got itself a bid again. This is on the back of Aussie strength. We are coming into some resistance here. So the longer term trend in the Aussie New Zealand, it's still to the predominantly to the upside. We hit our 110 level and have rolled over since there. We're now retesting here. However, this level of this level here is reasonably key here in Aussie New Zealand. So 109 level key. We need to break 109 with some significance for us to retest the 110 level. I'm a trend continuation trader. For me, I've got to look at selling this trade. I've got to look at selling the Aussie New Zealand from these levels, and for continuation of the major downtrend. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down trades, 2 up days. We're still in a downtrend. For me, I think if we don't break 109.60, for me this trade is a short to the is a trade to the downside. Okay. Now if you're taking a longer term trade off the 1 hour, a 60, 70 pip stop to come back down to these levels gives you a 1.5 to 1 risk reward ratio. Aussie New Zealand for me is still a trade that I would consider to the downside, and in fact I might even be looking at taking that myself. So as you can see, we are at a 50% pullback. It is a key level. This is a fib level, 50 level here. So this 50 to 61%, 61.8 is a sell zone. Selling in this sell zone, remember this is not a precise level. Anywhere selling in this sell zone with a stop above this swing high before the move to the downside, gives you a good risk reward to the positive risk reward. So when I'm trading, guys, I always like to look for positive risk reward. We'll never place a trade with less than 1-to-1 risk reward. And generally trading with the direction of the trend. However, on smaller time frames, I can drill down for counter swings, counter reversals. But at the moment, we are seeing some resistance here. This zone is a sell zone. Selling into this sell zone with a stop, 60, 50, 60 pip stop. Makes total sense. If I look at the 4 hour, so 4 hour ATR is 25 pips, so it's about 2 ATR on the 4 hour. Gives a good risk reward. Okay, let's see if I can look at the chat again. Now this is the pound CAD. Pound CAD. We are. This is a trade that you might consider after Brexit announcements. We've seen some strength emerging now in the Canadian dollar. Oil prices have been under pressure recently. We've had some disruption in Libya in their oil productions. We've had the OPEC and non-OPEC countries talking about extending their cuts. The direction for oil now, I think, is to the upside, which of course is good for the Canadian dollar. Now, if you're seeing uncertainty in the British pound after the Brexit and what have you, then the Canadian dollar could be one to play with it. Okay, so selling British pound against the Canadian dollar is a trade that you might want to consider for two fundamental reasons: uncertainty in not the uncertainty, but the words that are coming out of Europe in terms of British pound, and the potential strength in the Canadian dollar. This is one of the reasons why I use the strength meter, guys. I mean, in forex trading, it's about the only market that I know where you can trade something that has two opposing effects. You can trade stocks that are either going up or down. You can trade oil that's going up or down, or gold that's going up or down. With the forex markets, you can trade a strong currency against a weak currency. A country that's under pressure to a country that's doing well. So you've got two forces driving your direction of your trade. That's why I think it's such an exciting concept to be looking at strength rather than just being married to a particular pair. Now, nothing wrong with just trading a handful of pairs. I mean, I think certainly when you're starting off in trading 3 or 4 pairs, limiting yourself to 3 or 4 pairs, nothing wrong with that. Trading 2 pairs, nothing wrong with that. There's been many successful traders that just trade the the main pair, the euro against the euro against the US dollar, which accounts for 33% of all FX transactions. The dollar is on 88% of all foreign exchange transactions. So but using the strength meter, sitting on your hands and only buying or selling euro dollar when they are moving opposite directions, that's the time to be doing that, not to be doing it when they're moving together. Sit on your hands and do something else, go and play golf. So this is why I like the currency markets, and this is why I like the strength meter, and this is why I like looking at opposing economies, Canadian dollar, British pound. There's 2 different reasons here going on, but one's negative, one's positive, and that's why this makes a good sound trade to get involved in. And of course, it's reflected in the strength meter. At the moment, we're seeing continued. We're seeing emerging strength in the Canadian dollar. This is the 1 hour, so it's sort of more of an indication of what's happening at the moment. Okay, it's pushing up at the moment. Of course, that's going to be on the back of oil prices. Yeah, pound yen. I like the pound. I like your pound yen short repo. I'll look at that in a second. Yeah, so the Canadian dollar is is continuing on its upward path. I'll look at the 4 hour. It's supposed to be not as strong on the 4 hour at the moment. Okay, it's heading that way. Look where it's come on the 4 hour. It's the 3rd strongest currency, the Canadian. Okay, that just shows you there's a bid under the Canadian dollar. Yeah, there's also a bid under the US dollar. So are you going to trade these 2 pairs here? Would you want to be trading? Would you want to be trading CAD dollar at the moment? I can tell you now, without even looking at the chart, that the CAD dollar is just flatlining. Without even looking at the chart, I can tell you the Canadian dollar and the US dollar are not moving anywhere. Let's have a look. CAD. It's flatlining. I mean, this is just not going anywhere. It's just moving in a sideways move. It's rotating around its 20 moving average, up below. It's just not going anywhere. This is just a market that's just not trending. So so that's why I think that that's why we like to use this. But the Canadian dollar is showing a bid at the moment. So why would you not want to consider buying something that's showing a bid? And why would you not consider something that's showing some weakness? See, that's the Euro CAD, seeing weakness in the So we're seeing weakness. This is the Euro CAD. So we're seeing weakness in the euro now emerging, and strength in the Canadian dollar. So this is the 15-minute chart. Of course, the longer-term chart still shows shows an uptrend. But if you're looking at a shorter term time frame, that is the currency to be trading at the moment. Shorting euro, buying CAD. I mean, it's just, there's some entries in here, on intraday entries. There's just some big opportunities in there by shorting the weaker currency and buying the stronger currency. Now let's have a look at the pound yen for Reaper. Now pound yen, I was saying on, I think it was Monday, it was a pair that I was leaving alone. It was pretty much flatlining. I mean, this is the 200 moving average, but flatlining. We're now taking certainly a move to the downside. So shorting pound yen Reaper is a trade that you can certainly get involved in. This is the that's the 4 hour to the 1 hour. Not such a bit too small for you to see there. That's my sell zone in that. I pick the zones. Okay, that's going to be with the naked eye. You can see that's going to be a fib level as well. 23 fib, 23 to 38 fib. That's the sell zone there. With a stop above the 50%. So that's the. I mean, I think you're a longer term trader. We've got a 22 pip ATR on the 1 hour. I'm sure you can see that. Is it a bit too small? A bit too small. So that's my sell zone in here. $50 pip stop, which is a 2 ATR, 3 ATR take profit. Is the way to play that. Now, of course, Reaper, I'm sure you know Brexit's coming out. Everyone knows Brexit's coming out today. So you need to be mindful of that. I mean, we could have some erratic moves. I think, as I said on the onset of the stream, if anything, the risk is to the downside post announcement. Longer term view. As trade deals get struck, I believe pound will be a beneficiary, but short term pound I think will be under pressure post Brexit. I can't think of anything that's going to be said by Europe that's going to say, yep, okay, that's all good for pound. It's just there's nothing that can come out, in my opinion, that's going to put a bid under the pound at the moment. I believe the short covering has been pretty much covered. And there's no shock horrors here. We always knew if Article 50 was going to be triggered in late March. Well, she's triggered it on 29th of March. She's about to trigger it on 29th of March. So there's no shock horrors here. What's going to come out is going to be more negative, I think, than positive. Or just start buying British pound super small trade sizes now. Yep, I mean that's a strategy. You can scale into that. Take it on a long-term view. Maybe put it on your back book or put it on another trading account. Open up another trading account with another broker. Put in a small. Well, I don't know what small is for people, but put in a smaller account size, and play it on the back book. Or you can go and buy a. A long-term option, which is called a LEAP option, LEAP. You can buy an option on, trading around the 124 level on cable. You can buy a 128 call option for December or March next year, 1 year or 2 year option. You pay a bit of time value on that, but that's a way to play that as well. Yeah, staying on the sidelines until the letter arrives. The letter will arrive. It's what they say. The letter arriving is a handover, but it's what Tusk says. And after the what after he says, when his press conference, I just can't see anything that he's going to say, signalling, you've got the French elections coming up. You've got Le Pen. I know she's taking, Le Pen's the left-wing candidate. She's taking, she was always anti. She was saying she's going to have a whole referendum anti the euro. She's taking less of a anti-euro stance in the last week or so, as opinion polls show that the majority of people in France don't want to leave the European Union. So so she's sort of like come off that a little bit. But Tusk is going to be fully aware that there are people that are looking at, other countries that are looking at pulling out. So he's not going to make this easy, and he's not going to come out of any rhetoric that's going to make it look easy either. So I just don't think there's no reason to be buying pound at the moment this week or next week. Long term, as I say, yes. Do call options cost money to hold? No, once you buy a call option, there's no cost of carry. You own that option. That's your the only thing you when I say no, it doesn't actually cost you to hold it, taken from your account. But when you buy a call option, you have there's two values in the call option. You have intrinsic value and you have time value. If you're buying a 128 strike, that means you want the pound dollar to go above 128. Well, there's no intrinsic value because the pound at the moment is trading at 124. So the intrinsic value doesn't exist. The whole cost of that option is extrinsic value, which is time value. So that is the cost of that option. But once you hold it, once you've paid for that cost, the option is yours, and there's no further payments to be made on that. You hold that. So no funding charges, if that's what you mean. No funding charges on buying call options. Of course, if you think it's the other way around, you buy a put option, which is the right to sell the currency. You can trade currency options on the Philadelphia Stock Exchange in New York, which most of your brokers should be able to do, or not necessarily forex brokers, but most brokers can do Philadelphia Exchange currency options. Okay, just having a look at the chat. So this is the schedule for the streaming. Just to give you an insight, it's good to be in the room here now. I've got some good old friends from the premium room have come over as well, so it's good to talk to you guys as well. And some new names that I haven't seen before, but we'll get to know you over the course of time. We're going to try and get this room really focusing around trading and markets and trade calls and talking about markets. We're going to try and leave the music posts and the stuff that's not market related away. So please, don't populate the site too much or don't populate the site at all really if you can with any music videos. We're not really interested in that here. We want to keep this as a trading community. So that's what we're going to be doing. So it's good to be in here. I'll be streaming certainly minimum once a day, scheduled once a day. That might increase next week and the week after. Tony comes on, so I will be coming on about the London opening. Apart from Thursdays when I have to do a school run here, so I'll be coming in after Tony. Tony comes in at 10 British summertime, which is 9 GMT. And then Jason comes on for the start of the US opening as well. So we're going to be posting trade ideas. There'll be lots of trade ideas coming through. We encourage you all to post trade ideas as well. I look at all the trade ideas. It gives us something to talk about as well. In fact, oops, sorry, I'm just moving something here. Just looking at the trade ideas. Yeah, we had a few hours ago. So keep the trade ideas coming in the trade room. So we'll be analysing those as well. Thanks so much, Andrew. I'm so glad to find this community. I am biased, of course, but I think it's one of the best communities, if not the best financial trading communities out there. Certainly that I've seen. It's genuine. There's no. We're not selling anything here. We've put up. There's nothing to be sold here. We encourage good interaction, we've got a very, very low cost of entry for people that are not that haven't found it before, just to make sure that we're getting the right people in here. So that's great. Euro CAD trade looks great. Good stuff. Jimoni, we are trying to make it more professional. We're trying to make it more a place. Well, I mean, look, it's great. Look, this is not the. We've got no problems with the way that the rooms are running before. It's been great, but moving forward, we want to expand it to get more professional-minded traders in here. So this is not a negative move for the people that are in the room. I think there's a great bunch of people in the room at the moment. No one's getting turfed out. We want to focus it more on the trading community. So we do want to certainly keep out the music videos and all that type of stuff. There's other websites that you can join, or chat rooms you can join for that. We want to keep it as a trading community. That doesn't mean you can't talk about something that's that's relevant. I mean, it's just getting into at the end of the day, we're still chatting here. It's not you're not compelled only to put a trade signal out. We are chatting. We're talking about the market. We're talking about the economy. We're talking about what's going on in the world and so forth. So that's what it's all about. It's not all about entry signals, but we want to keep away from sort of music type of stuff. And also, the more people that we get in the room, because we're going to be going on a bit of a marketing campaign to get more professional minded traders in here as well, so we can all share ideas. So creating what I hope to be the biggest and most successful trading community on the web. And I think knowing Nick and knowing Will and Dom, I don't see any reason why that just won't happen. It's just going to be a great place to be hanging out. Really appreciate the video. Make a few bucks already from what you've said in the last few minutes. Can't ask much more than that, Mr. Baz. That is a nice testimonial. For those listening on YouTube, Mr. Baz says, another brand new walk in here. Really appreciate the video. Made a few bucks already from just what you've said in the last few minutes. Can't wait for much more than that. You can't ask for much more than that. Great. I love this community. Big River's going off for dinner. Thanks for the stream, Andrew. See you at BRM. Chat to you later. And yeah, thanks guys. Okay, so Tony's going to be coming on in about an hour's time. We've got a fun-packed agenda again today, as with every day. So it is great to interact. Moving forward, these streams work a lot better when I'm coming on. I mean, there's me talking about charts for 40 minutes or 30 minutes, but the interaction that we get back from the trade room in terms of chatting really makes it work well. I learn from it as well. There's things that you guys will see that I don't see. So do keep the chats coming. I really do appreciate it, and it's going to make the room much more fluid. Just end up with a look on. I'm going to change the batteries in my mouse by the looks of things. Just want to end up with a quick final look at the gold market. Okay, gold market here now. We've stalled around the 1250 level. Now the 200 moving average on gold is around the 12. This is the 200-day moving average on gold. We're at the 1260 level. It pierced it here. It's pierced it here. It's also, I believe, again looking from the naked eye. Yeah, I thought so. So you can see here from the gold rally, 1368. Back from June last year, the high of gold last year, to the low 1123. Okay, so this moved to the downside on the daily. Okay, this is the daily chart. Move from the downside. We are now at a 50% basically pullback of that downtrend. So this is a key level in gold, guys. 200 moving average, 50% pullback. If we break through gold, then we could be looking at if we break through the 1260 level, then gold could have a move to the upside, maybe stalling at the next fib level. Bit of area of congestion on the left of the chart, 1277. Next target 1300. Okay, back up here. So keep an eye on gold. Clearly, any weakness we see in the US dollar, any problems we're seeing with the Trump policy, any deviation from his fiscal stance in terms of getting his tax cuts through, his infrastructure spending through, any stalling of that, could see gold blip through here and retest the 1300 level. So is gold going up? I think I have quite a reasonably affluent life, progress to profit. I think I have a reasonably affluent life. If I knew that for sure, then I'd be flying my own private plane, as Mr. Trump would be doing. So I don't know for sure, but the bias is certainly to the upside in gold for me. So I think this is something that I'm looking at. 1260 level is a key level, and just checking here. Yeah, 1260 level is a key level in gold. If we break through 1260 and stay there and stay above 1260, the 1260 level is going to be a support, and we'll be bouncing off it to the with trades to the upside. So that's my play in that's my line of thought in the gold market. Stock markets have put a bid on. Okay, as you see, we've had a big fall off from the highs. Let's just pull a fib on the stock just to see the pullback. So from the highs of 2100 to the lows of 2400, stock market's had a rally. We are at a stalling point in the stock market. So stalling point is a 50% level of the retracement level. Looking left, it's also a level of resistance. So stock markets are almost coming into the moving average. Okay, this is on the 1 hour, but we're also coming into the 200 moving average on the 1 hour. So stocks are mindful of this level, 20,750 level. Is a level that we should be looking at for direction. The peak here was exactly that, actually 20,750. Okay, so that is a level in the stock market that that could hold. Okay, so Mr. Baz has been doing some scalps in pound, Aussie, Euro, Aussie. Good, pleased I helped on that one. Right, guys, I'll jump off. I'll be in the chat room. I've got I'm putting together some other videos here for you guys, but I'm also going to be looking at the markets because I've got to pay the bills. And I'll be keeping an eye on the chat to keep the chat coming, and trade ideas are plentiful. Thanks, guys. Trade safe if you're trading ahead of Brexit. 12:30 is the mindful time, so that's 3.5 hours from now, and should be an interesting day. Nice chatting, guys. Speak to you soon.